Today I'm going to be showing you how to use a pipette using various images that I took from the lab. So every pipette in the lab has a corresponding tip length that corresponds to the pipette itself. So a 20 pipette is going to have a 20 tip. In this case we have a 1000. So the first thing you do is just slowly push down and little firm on the tip with the end of the pipette to get it to attach. As you can see now, we have pushed down on the pipette and our tip is now fully on and secure. And now we can begin to draw up the liquid or other substance that we are going to be using in our disposable pipette tip. So in this experiment, we took snow from outside, as it is now winter in St. Louis, and we allowed it to melt, and now we can finally draw up the desired amount of liquid in the pipette tip to put into our auger plate. To do this, we press all the way down on the pipette and slowly draw up the liquid so that we get the perfect amount or our desired amount at this point. Here is an image of me putting the water inside of our auger plate. As I press halfway down, that should release most of the water that we drew up from the water inside of that beaker. But then if I press all the way down, this should fully release every single bit of water that we have taken up into our disposable pipette, because it is expelling more than what we would have taken up originally. And since it is a disposable pipette, when we are done, you can press the little release button on the side and not the plunger, and this should release your disposable pipette tip into a waste beaker, which my waste beaker was in fact the melted snow this time. So that is how you release the pipette and operate it, and then also just release the waste. This is a 1000 microliter pipette, and obviously you can see that we have this in the correct orientation for 1000 microliters. Sadly, there is no red number on here that indicates how many we have, but it is in the correct orientation because we see that top one being 1000. Here we can see another example of a pipette, and this is a 10 microliter pipette. As we can see, that top red one is going to be our tens place, and then that next zero is our ones place, and then that last zero is a decimal point. So here we can interpret that this is a 10 microliter pipette, and the maximum amount of liquid that it would be able to uptake is about 10 microliters. This pipette is our final pipette, and this is a 200 microliter pipette. So this obviously is going to take up 200 microliters. As you can see, that top number is 2, and then it is set to 200, and that yellow bar is going to represent where our decimal place is going to go, so that final zero is actually 0.0. So this is actually 200 flat, 200 microliters on this pipette. And the only difference between these pipettes is the amount of liquid that they can take up. They are all built the same.